In our digital world today, digital communication technology is in use all around us. One of the main arguments for its continued and extended use is that it makes communication faster and more accessible, streamlining the workplace, the medical field, and relationship building. However, digital communication should not be used to make communication faster and more accessible because it removes the personal nature of communication, increases the spread of misinformation and distrust, and decreases the reading ability of the population. One digital One danger of digital communication is a reduction in communication's personal nature. When you talk to someone face to face, you gather information from them not only through the words that they use, but through the inflection in their voices, the facial expressions they use, and their body language. These unspoken clues tell us how the other person is feeling, what they genuinely think about what we have just said, the level of their excitement or hesitation, and more. When we use digital communication like texting, emails, and even voice memos, we are limiting our ability to read the other person well because these clues are lacking. As a result, our digital communication is impersonal and insensitive to the other person's individuality, personality, and emotional state. For a connection to be genuine, transparent, and personal, we must be acutely aware of each of these things. Such knowledge allows us to value others as we ought to. Otherwise, one may hurt another person unintentionally or fail to value the parts of their character that don't come across as well online. Additionally, the growth in the frequency of online communication has pushed many users to decrease the frequency of their actual in-person interactions, causing dangerous changes to impact more aspects of our social lives. In the end, the ease which digital communication provides limits the quality of relational connections because our online relationships are not as rooted in an understanding of other people's inherent human value.
In addition, the speed and accessibility of digital communication leads to misinformation and distrust of others. The sheer volume of content and information created each day is immense, and from one perspective, it can be a safeguard against misinformation. L.M. Sakasis, a philosopher and critic, agrees but offers an important qualification. He writes, "Information scarcity may lend itself to a measure of credulity. When facts are few, persuading the ignorant is relatively easy." However, he also points out that the opposite is having too much information makes the truth feel elusive. Any position can be disproven, and evidence can be found to defend any position. Additionally, digital communication promotes distrust of other users and skepticism of intentions in relationships. Some researchers have found disagreement on this point. Claire Wallace, a social researcher, writes, "New dimensions of trust are established and mediated, for example, through online purchasing, accessing banking and public services, as well as developing new kinds of personal community. Barry Wellman and colleagues have argued for many years that a new kind of social relationship is developed as these locational communities are replaced by virtual, personal networks. However, these connections and online relationships are not based on real trust. They may seem to promote community, but any real sort of trust and comfort is based on internet protocol and encryption, not on social bond. Unlike the past, these fast-forming, loose networks teach users to prioritize their own safety in all relationships and to scrutinize and validate any communication they receive. Therefore, the speed and accessibility of digital communication creates unhealthy avenues for deception and distrust in both knowledge and other people."
Lastly, with the abundance and trend of communicating in shorter and shorter chunks, humans are losing their ability to read leisurely and communicate in depth. With digital reading on the rise, many people are finding articles and books to be more accessible. However, this increase in digital literature has resulted in a decrease in reading comprehension of the text being read. In Naomi S. Barron's Our Journal article, she asked a group of college students multiple questions in regard to technology and reading. In the study, only 6% of students stated that they were likely to read a text if it was purely available online, compared to 56% of students who said they were likely to read a text if it was handed to them in person, and another 38% stating it made no difference. The process of reading online has resulted in a shift in how people read, being a new form of reading where users of digital literature seem to avoid reading in the traditional sense in favor of quickly skimming articles and looking for quick wins. These statistics show that digital communication promotes distraction and decreased reading comprehension of literature, and that the users of these technologies tend to prefer analog methods of communication compared to the hyperstimulating methods presented through digital means.